Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight, a very special show. I have Kim Copel, and she is from the Genoa Historic Ghost Tours.
Yes.
Welcome to Nevada Trails.
Well, thank you very much for having me here.
Well, I kind of snooped on your website.
Good.
This is what they say about Kim. She's an amateur paranormal investigator.
Yes.
So you talk the talk, but you walk the walk.
We do. We absolutely do.
And you're the Ghost Tours founder and tour guide.
Yes, I am. I wear all hats.
And I actually worked at nights in Genoa for several years, and you definitely feel a lot of presence there.
Yes, yeah.
And so I already know what's going on there. But you're also a board member with Lake Tahoe Historical Society.
I am.
That's a good thing. And a volunteer docent with both Lake Tahoe and Douglas County Historical Societies.
I am, and I'm also now on the board of the Douglas County Historical Society, too. I'm a trustee.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Might want to update that website.
Yeah, probably should.
And so anyways, we did the show of the Lake Tahoe museums, and I definitely learned a lot.
Good.
And since then, we've done some shooting at the Douglas County Museum, and we'll do a tour like that too with Laura Hickey.
Good, yeah. She's very good. She knows her history. She's fourth generation, fifth generation Carson Valley.
And then we're also going to do one soon with your Genoa Museum.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're going to do that very soon, and there's a lot of history in that museum too. It's a wonderful museum.
I can't wait. But one thing struck me with our first tour of the Lake Tahoe Museum was that when I reviewed the tape, I looked back and I said, in the second show, there was a picture of the bombing of the building. What was it?
It was Harvey's, yes.
There was a picture of a face. There's a face, someone's face in that picture. So when I called you, I said, you know, your museum is haunted. Then you told me your skills. I went, whoa, she knows stuff, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, almost every place has some kind of spiritual presence for many different reasons. The fun part of history, though, Michael, is seeing if you can figure out who that is and what the significance is and why they're there. And because you saw the face in the glass of the picture of Harvey's, it's easiest for spirits to manifest themselves in something that's smooth and reflective because it takes a lot of energy. Maybe we can talk about that later. But I'm not surprised that you saw a face in the glass. That would be a lot easier than having a mist or an orb, you know, manifest itself. But every place has spirits because there's so much history.
Well, if you watch the show, and we have it on YouTube, he looks like he's very distinctive. He's got curly hair. He's like maybe Norwegian. So I don't know, can a ghost come in on a piece of something donated to the place?
It can, and that, again, I mean, if you're a paranormal investigator, and hopefully a paranormal investigative team has a psychic with them, somebody that's really sensitive and can see and hear legitimately. Because there's a lot of research that's going to have to be done if they make communication with you, the spirits do. But that is one way. Many spirits come into museums and antique stores because a lot of spirits will get attached to an item. Like you could go home and you can have a favorite something in your house, and you'd be really upset if it was stolen or if it was broken. I'm not talking about a TV. I'm talking about maybe a vase that was your grandmother's or an item that was your grandfather's or something that you just love. Now, when you pass, that might be something that you want to make sure went to the right person. And if somebody didn't pay attention to what you wanted done with it and it ended up being sold at a garage sale, and you had no better place to be as a spirit, you might follow that and try to stay with it because that was your favorite thing. And we encounter that all the time.
That makes sense. My grandfather had a lot of beautiful things that ended up in museums.
Yeah.
And ones at Ohio State, and I can see it vividly. Well, also on this ghost tour, though, back to Genoa, you said that I looked at the page and it said it's bring soft shoes because you do about 2 miles of walking. We do
2 miles walking, believe it or not, or at least we're walking for 2 hours. At least it depends on which tour you choose.
But I wasn't sure about the good shoes. Could you change terrains or something?
Well, we can. Basically, for anybody who's been to Genoa, you know that it's pretty much flat. But we have about 3 or 4 different tours to choose from because if I were to put all of that information together, and when I did, I came up literally with 6 hours, a 6-hour tour, and nobody's going to want to do a 6-hour tour, no matter how good I am, if I'm that good. But so we broke it down into 3 tours, and all the tours encompass, you know, a good chunk of Main Street. But for instance, we have one tour that we call the Main Street Tour, and that's from the Genoa Courthouse Museum all the way down to the Dake House, which is Antiques Plus. Another tour is called the Haunted Genoa Tour, and all of that encompasses sites that have reported or established hauntings.
Ooh.
And then we have the West of Main tour. That's a good chunk of Main Street, but the older homes, the very first homes, and that would be on the west side of Main, founding homes of Genoa. So that kind of goes up. The terrain is a little bit up onto the hill, and just walking. You know, you want people to be comfortable. You don't want to get an hour into the tour and have somebody be miserable because they didn't wear the right, you know, the right shoes. So that's a reference to that.
Well, I tell people they should go to Genoa just to relax anyways. It's such a relaxing town.
Yeah.
I've been driving through there at night because I've been doing so many shoots down in the area. And just, I think it was last night, I drove through and the deer were it's close to sunset, and they're just happy. The apples are ready for them or something.
Oh, they're all over the place. They don't even give us a second look there. You know, you really do have to drive slowly through Genoa. Please pay attention to the speed limit, because they, you know, the deer just come out of nowhere, and we would hate to see one of them hit.
Well, they're so friendly, they don't even react.
They do. Yeah,
they don't even react to people. So if you want to take your
Right.
granddaughter to meet deer, just go see them. It's perfect. But another question I had, I know I love Genoa, but I used to work there for 3 years, and I had this feeling of things at night. Is that cemetery, the Genoa Cemetery, still an active cemetery? I mean, can I get buried there if I so choose?
Yeah, you would get a hold of the Genoa Cemetery Association.
So you can,
And
if new people are going in there.
Oh, yes, I believe you can. I don't know if there's a specific criteria, if you have to be a resident of the Carson Valley or something like that, but that would be the Genoa Cemetery Association. Ron Lange would be the person to...
Well, that'd be a great place for me.
Yeah, and we just had, they were generous enough, the Genoa Cemetery Association were generous enough to allow us to hold an event there just recently on the 13th, and we did the Genoa Cemetery Interactive Haunted Halloween Tour.
Wow.
In conjunction with Thin Veil Investigators. And it was a 2-hour tour, a lot of history, and we honored the forefathers that founded Genoa and lived in Genoa, and we visited their grave sites, and we talked about the history and the sensational history. Our guests took pictures. We have pictures with tons and tons of orbs, which is how spirits manifest.
Now, an orb is like a light of some sort?
Yeah, just a little, you know, a round globe of light, which is different than dust, and there's a great orb controversy, so we won't get into that here, and how you tell the difference. But those of us that believe we can tell the difference.
Well, I can call you up and talk to you about that.
Exactly. That's what or come on the tour and we can talk about it. But we had 27 people on the tour, and our max was going to be 30. Well, when you saw the pictures of the orbs, we had a lot more people on that tour that were not paying guests, but I guess they were residents, so that was okay.
Well, you also have the most famous one that I know of is Snowshoe Thompson.
Oh,
and when I worked at the Sugar Plum Bakery, tourists would ask me daily to take pictures in front of his statue. It's absolutely beautiful. Nice trees. It's by the...
Oh, it's a beautiful... It's a 10-year-old, I guess 11 years now. That statue's been there 11 years, and it was put there by the Friends of Snowshoe Thompson Association, and the Greater Genoa Business Association helped to raise funds to do the stand around it. But before we go on, part of my ghost tour has to do with the Genoa Country Inn, where the Sugar Plum Bakery used to be. There's a story about that, but you got to come on the tour. But I will tell you, any time I mention the Sugar Plum Bakery to anybody who had been in Genoa at the time, they start drooling and salivating. Apparently, that was one of the most popular destinations in Genoa. So you were lucky to have worked there.
They were very generous, too. They donated a lot of food to the locals.
Yeah. Well, and to answer your story about Snowshoe Thompson, I don't have a ghost story about him, but on the tours, I talk about him because you can't talk about Genoa without talking about him. He is one of the most beloved citizens of Genoa.
But you can go and see his grave in the Genoa Cemetery.
Absolutely.
Because I like going through cemeteries. That's why I was asking if it was active or not, because a lot of the older ones don't have new people.
Yeah.
But it sounds great for history.
Oh, it does. For history.
Your family trees and things.
Yeah, I can do it. You know, that I'm glad you brought that up, because a cemetery is really an outdoor archive.
Exactly.
There are many towns throughout the western United States, mining towns too. The towns burned down over and over again. And during the Civil War, towns that saw battle burned down over and over again. And sometimes the last remaining record that anybody existed was in that cemetery where they were buried, and the epitaph on their headstone. And the headstones themselves, depending upon what's on them, you might have a willow or a lamb, or it might be draped, or it's an obelisk. Those have meanings themselves, and it is for the history alone. I love to do the historic tour of the cemetery and not even bring up the ghosts, because that is a wonderful tour alone through the cemetery.
Some of them are very funny. One had a mailbox on it.
I know.
We're down to 2 minutes before break.
Oh, okay.
I want to give out your contact information. I want to give it out twice.
Okay.
Once before break and once before we leave.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Can you go out and give out your phone number and your website?
Absolutely. You can call me at any time, 775-220-0605. Or you can reach me by email at info@GenoaHistoricGhostTours, there's 2 T's in there, .com. Or my website simply is GenoaHistoricGhostTours.com.
That's a lot of stuff to type in.
It is, it is. Yes, remember those 2 T's, Ghost Tours.
Well, you had a good website. You kind of, give you kind of the variety of things you cover during the tour, and
Yes.
things, like you said, what to wear and comfortable.
Yeah, well,
and
that's important, because some people are on vacation, and we want to make sure that they come prepared, because for 2 hours, and it does cost some money, and I want it to be worth the money.
Well, also from working there, the sun hits that mountain. Once it gets a little bit, it's the first place in the valley to get shade.
Absolutely.
So you might have that spare sweater or spare jacket with you.
Absolutely. And we've had, there's been one time where we've had to have umbrella too.
Really?
Yep.
Well, one thing I liked about Genoa is the wind goes completely around. So you might be no wind, all of a sudden it just steamrolls through.
Yeah, you have to.
So you might, if you're doing a ghost tour, that'd probably be scary.
Yeah, well, we've thanked the spirits for doing something on cue, like that.
I like that. We're going to take a short break, and we come back. We're going to talk more with Kim Copel about Genoa Ghost Tours.
Genoa Historic Ghost
Historic
Tours.
Ghost Tours. Thank you very much.
Contact fellow.
No, I do.
Okay, not a problem.
Hey, Vine, how's it going?
It's going very good.
Good. Welcome to Skydive Tahoe. Tell everyone what we're doing here.
Jumping out of a plane today.
Out of this airplane.
Yes, ma'am.
With that guy.
Yay!
Does he look trustworthy?
Yeah. So why are we doing this today?
Oh, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah?
Woke up this morning with a head full of snow.
we're back with Kim Copel of the Genoa Historic Ghost Tours, and I'm like, we just had a long break where we were talking about ghosts in the background of our discussion. We've done like 5 shows.
Yes.
Your expertise on the subject is phenomenal.
Well, you know, thank you for using the word expertise, but I'm in no way an expert. I've learned a lot by being a paranormal investigator with a very good paranormal investigative team.
Well, I think you learned fast. Now, the investigative team, is that the one you talked about that was Thin Veil Investigations?
Yes, Thin Veil Investigators. They're out of Carson City. And we've been around since 2005.
You said we?
We, yeah. There's a few of us. There's a handful of us, and I'm one of the newest members to the team. But we're all either psychic or sensitive. We all have some sort of gift, and that is very helpful being a paranormal investigator.
Well, now our director said he was interested in learning this area. Can he track down these people and get lessons or something?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we can put him in touch with investigation that we might be doing in a public place, because we do have people who call us. 85 to 90% of our investigations are people getting in touch with us saying they have something they want to find out what's going on, and they're not always afraid of it. It's not always something that's harming them. But they could just, like a restaurant in Genoa that just recently had us investigate them.
Cool.
They knew they had a couple spirits there. They just wanted them identified.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's not always bad stuff, but that's about the most what we do. But some investigations are private, and they'll say, can you please come in and help us find out what's going on? But we really don't want you to talk to other people.
well, that's
about it.
actually why I asked you about the Genoa Cemetery, because some people wouldn't want you to be doing tours of ghosts if their loved ones are in the cemetery, but they're cool about it?
Well, the Cemetery Association is fine with it, and what the graves that we visit are the ones of the notables, like the Raycraft family and David Wally and
David Wally?
David Wally.
The David Wally?
Yes, David Wally
Wow.
and Harriet Wally are buried there.
Did not know that.
No, so you've got to come on a tour.
I do.
And Stephen Kinsey, who was one of the founders of Mormon Station, which later became Genoa. So those are the ones that we visit, and then there's some other that we stop at. Oh, Snowshoe Thompson we visit too.
What's the date on that founder's grave?
On Kinsey?
Yeah.
Oh, 1903, Mr. Kinsey passed away, and his wife passed away in 1905.
Wow.
Yeah, but we don't just stop and talk about graves that we don't know anything about the people there historically. We might point out that, say, this tombstone has a lamb on it and what the lamb means. But we're very respectful. We always stay on the path, but we're very respectful of the people buried there. And actually, we're traveling mainly through the historic section, the older sections, which is the Genoa, the Masonic, and the Oddfellows section. There is a big section where people have been buried more recently, and there's no reason to even go over there.
Oh, no. And
we
well,
don't
it's
know
definitely
anything about those families.
It's a big place and a lot of older, and I don't know, does the hanging tree come into play in that place?
Oh, the hanging tree does, yes.
train.
That is a very interesting story. It's a sad story, too. It was known as one of the darkest days in Genoa's history. But the gentleman that was lynched, he is buried in the Genoa Cemetery without a grave marker because he was actually imprisoned in the courthouse jail at the time that he was taken from the jail and drugged down Genoa Lane and summarily lynched on a cottonwood tree. But at that time, if you died in the jail or if you were hung, that was the seat of Douglas County, and there's a section reserved in that cemetery for people who died while they were incarcerated and had no other place to be buried.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that place over there, as a matter of fact, bringing that up, there have been known over the years in that particular section, that's just northwest of Snowshoe Thompson's burial. And there have been lights that have shown up there over the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just
bring your
little
camera
lights.
on these. Bring your camera on these
Those
tours.
are different than orbs. People will drive by and they'll see these lights flickering over there. There could be spirits that haven't that aren't rested.
Well, that's awesome. You said that the tour's about 2 miles, so you go through a lot of the older buildings in downtown Genoa.
We go around. Yeah, we go around and we start right at the shop where I'm at, and my shop's located in interestingly enough, it's a very cute little antique store called the Cobweb Palace. So that's very appropriate.
You're the cobweb lady.
We're the cobweb, yeah, there's a reason for it.
No, it sounds nice, though.
Yeah, but it's right now, it's between the old Genoa bar and the Genoa Antique Store, and so that's on the west side of Main Street.
Genoa bar's a good place to start?
But we start there, we end at the Genoa bar, not end there. But yeah, we walk generally all the way to the Courthouse Museum, and there's history along the way. We tell the history of the Mormon Station, and depending upon where the rest of the tour goes, but we bring it back to ending it at the old Genoa bar.
Well,
and they have lots of spirits there, both ones that you can buy and ones that you can talk to.
There's a scary bra in the old Genoa bar.
Yeah, well, it's not scary. Well, it's not scary. Interestingly enough,
I'm kidding.
That was Raquel Welch's
I know. She's a nice lady.
And everybody, I take it for granted at my age that everybody knows Raquel Welch, and so I love to tell the story about how the bra got there, and that's not even a ghost story. But I have had a few people, young people, one was a newlywed couple, and they must have been in their early 20s. And probably your director here might fall into that same category.
Possibly.
That I said, I started to tell the story of how Raquel Welch's bra came to be hanging in the Genoa bar.
We have the same thing here in Nevada Trails. That's why I don't get very many women.
Well, they just looked at me like they didn't know who Raquel Welch was, and I said, well, the actress Raquel Welch, and they said, no, we don't.
Oh.
And I said, well, that story kind of went down, so I have to remember the age group sometimes.
Well, she was on some Seinfeld episodes not that long ago.
Was she?
So
well, I can mention that
bit.
next time. Yeah, I can mention that next time. But yeah, see, our history in Genoa, because it is the oldest settlement in Nevada, our history goes back to 1851.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history to pack in there.
Well, Stanley Pear likes to fight with the people from Dayton over that issue, so it's always funny.
Yeah, we're not
going
to get going on that this, but it was just settled.
It's proven. I've had that on the show a number of times.
Yeah.
Well, backtrack to the Cobweb Antique Store. Is what it's called, Cobweb?
The Cobweb Palace. My friend Lisa Bomarito owns that store, and it was, it has history itself. It was the town ice house at one town for Genoa.
Okay, so they call. Is that what your phone's at?
Yeah, well, the number, that's my business phone, my cell phone. So that's why if you call, you can reach me at any time, because we do the tours 4 days a week.
So if you want to do the tour, you can call. You have to pre-call, though, probably.
Yeah, it's good to call because there's sometimes that, for instance, Nevada Day, I celebrate Nevada Day, and I'm going to be in the Nevada Day parade with the Wild Ass Women. So I won't be giving tours that day, but I hope I shouldn't be giving tours that day. Everybody should be at the Nevada Day Parade. So there are a few days. It's always best to call and make sure that there's not, for some reason, that we're not operating tours. And when we're coming into the winter, there might be days that are inclement that there's no way to do a tour. So it's year-round, but it's weather permitting.
Well, Genoa is a nice place for weather.
It's a nice place for a walk. This is the best time of year. The fall colors are changing. It's not too hot. It's not too cold yet. And I love to walk around this time of year because, as the name of the business is Genoa Historic Ghost Tours, we can do an entire 2 hours and not even bring up a ghost. It's just a beautiful walk around.
Well, that's what I think.
And I think that's important for people to know.
Well, the whole town has so much history. But I hit your website, and it says Genoa, where the ghosts tell the story.
Yeah, where the ghosts tell the history. And that's the fun part.
I like that.
That's the fun part because every spirit that's there, unless they came in with an antique or addition to a museum or an antique store, they were residents of Genoa. So why not ask them to help me tell the history? See, there's a connection. Paranormal investigators, there is somebody very smart in history coined this phrase, and I apologize for not remembering who said it. I won't take credit. But there was a paranormal investigator that once said, decades ago, ghost hunters walk in the footprints of history.
I agree.
And so I think these two things go together.
Because your mission statement was promote the history of Nevada's oldest settlement, which of course is Genoa. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's what I want to share the history with everyone. And and the paranormal is interesting to people too. And I happen to believe in it, but not everybody has to believe it to go on the tour.
No, if you love history, you'll be fine.
Exactly.
Your tour of Lake Tahoe was absolutely perfect, and we didn't even talk about any ghosts.
No.
And I was also going to say, we did, Justin and I went and did a seminar where the world kind of ends type thing, when disaster strikes type thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was thinking about your museum. If disaster strikes, I'm going to that museum because every old tool in the world is there.
I know. No, I never thought of that, Michael.
It's perfect.
Because everything there is everything you need is right there. Yeah.
So we're going to be getting all those antique tools and living off the land.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just a little marketing ploy for you.
Yeah,
That's what I thought about the other day.
You know, that's a perfect thought. I hadn't even thought of that.
Well, we're down to the last 2 minutes. Again, go out and give your contact information again.
Oh, thank you very much. You can contact me by phone at 775-220-0605, or you're free to email me at info@genoahistoricghosttours.com. My website is genoahistoricghosttours.com, and you can also find me on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. Our page is genoahistoricghosttours.com, and that page has the most updated photos of different events that we've been at. And you can friend it, or not friend it, I always get that wrong. You can like it, and then keep up to date with us on all the events that we're involved in, the Thin Veil investigators too.
Actually, that reminds me, I didn't ask you that question. I saw something on there about something happening in March, the Genoa Paracon or something?
Oh, that we had that earlier this year. It was a paranormal conference, and that went very well. We had hoped more people could have attended that, but we had fun with the people that were there and did a lot of fun things. But Paracons are popular for people to go to, too.
Because I had that date as March 9th to 10th, and that was this year.
Yeah,
I didn't read the date early enough.
But we do events like that. We're always involved in events like that.
Well, we're down to less than 45 seconds. Is there anything else you want to say about your tour?
I want to say that, again, give me a call. It's great for a family or a group because everybody can get something out of that tour, whether you believe in ghosts or not. If you just want to walk around town, you're interested in the history of Genoa and Nevada, or if you want to experience something paranormal, come visit us.
Well, Kim, thank you for being on Nevada Trails.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
I appreciate it. Come talk to Kim. She's definitely the docent of this region. She works in basically all three museums, so give her a try. Thank you very much.
Thank you.